What is up? GoodMicWork back at you. The Royal Rumble 2016 is in the books. I am up here as promised with your results and reaction video. Man, I am out of breath. That was a fantastic Royal Rumble. I know that the feedback on the show is most likely going to be mixed. As a matter of fact, from what I've seen on social media so far, the show's been over for about 10 minutes. It does seem to be a little bit mixed. But in my mind, when you look at the past two Royal Rumbles that they have given us and how god-awful horrible they were, to me, this was such a nice breath of fresh air, and this was much smarter booking. I'm going to get into all the details, all the dirt, all the shit we saw, all the stuff that happened, and of course the new WWE champion here in just a minute. First of all, I want to welcome all of the first-time listeners aboard. If you like what you hear, please click that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel and my second channel. If you'd like to download this episode in MP3 form, you can do that as well on my website, GoodMicWorkCommentaries.com, or you can listen to me on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into this Royal Rumble pay-per-view. We're going to start with the Royal Rumble match itself, and then I'll talk about the undercard a little bit later on, but we got to talk about the big match, right? The main event for the WWE title. Roman Reigns entering the ring as number one, is going to be defending the WWE title against 29 other men in the Royal Rumble match. I found myself enjoying about 90% of this Royal Rumble match. I think it was really well booked, a hell of a lot better than it had been booked in previous years, and we saw so much stuff. There's so much to get into, so I'm going to try to go, I guess, in order. Of course, Roman Reigns is number one. He makes his way down to the ring. Number two is Rusev, and they square off, big League of Nations member, against the WWE champion, a good first hard obstacle for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns ends up eliminating Rusev and stands in the ring alone as we await number three. And guess who number three is? Holy fucking shit, AJ Styles. The crowd popped hardcore. The roof blew off that building, and I'm so happy that it did, because as we heard about the rumors of AJ Styles and some of these other guys from Japan coming into the WWE, I was worried that if they did debut one of them, especially Styles, in the Royal Rumble, that the dumbass crowd would somehow not give him the reaction that he deserves, and then Vince McMahon would think, oh, what the hell's the big deal with this guy? The crowd doesn't even know who he fucking is, and it kills his push before it even gets started. But luckily, the fans came through and really helped out AJ here. I haven't heard a pop that loud in a long time. The fans completely marked out. I marked out. We all marked out on Twitter. It was fucking awesome. And the fact that the WWE fans, the WWE universe, showed AJ Styles that much love really, really warmed my heart. And I'm like, wow, see, hopefully this is a message to some of the higher ups in WWE and some of the management there that doesn't have a functioning brain like a guy like Triple H does. And they are able to realize now that the entire world does not revolve around WWE's little fucking universe, and there's still some great wrestling talent out there that when they come into the WWE, that everybody's going to know who they are, and there's no need to slap a gimmick on them. Bring these guys in as who they are, because that's how you're going to earn the respect of your wrestling audience. And the fans loved seeing them out there. They were going nuts. They were chanting AJ Styles' name as loud as they ever chanted Daniel Bryan's name. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be smooth sailing for AJ Styles from here on out, because it doesn't matter how loud they chant your name, as we have seen with Daniel Bryan. If the WWE doesn't want to push you, they ain't going to push you. So AJ has got to do everything he needs to do to get in good, I guess, with the management. Hopefully these retards will understand that this guy is a hell of a talent, and all of the interactions he had in this Royal Rumble, the guy was working his ass off in there. I guarantee you there's some people in the WWE that have probably never even seen AJ Styles wrestle before. So watching him in there, they were probably all looking at each other like, holy shit, people can actually learn how to do this line of work outside of the WWE umbrella, and some people are pretty fucking good at it. So to me, I was hugely marking out over AJ Styles' appearance in the Royal Rumble, and to make things even better is that he held his own. It wasn't like a bullshit appearance where he comes in and he's there for 2 to 4 minutes and he gets tossed out. He had a great showing for himself, and he had a lot of great interactions as well with guys that we've never even seen him work against. I mean, he started out with Roman Reigns. He also interacted with Tyler Breeze, Chris Jericho, Goldust, Stardust, Big Show, a couple of other guys as well. And then after he was in there for a while, what do you guys think? 15, 20 minutes maybe? Maybe not quite that long, but a solid effort in there nonetheless, whatever the final time count on him was. But I thought the WWE brilliantly picked the perfect guy to eliminate Styles, and that was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens showed up later on after Styles had been in there for a while, doing great, by the way. Gets in there, hammers down AJ, and tosses him out of the ring. And to me, that was brilliant, because the WWE has seen so many times before, especially with Daniel Bryan, when someone gets eliminated that the fans want to win, they completely shit on it and sabotage the rest of the match. So this time with an internet guy, the guy that the internet fans like and respect, him being the one to toss AJ out, especially when you think of the matchups those two guys could have under a WWE umbrella in a WWE ring. And the fans, they couldn't shit on it. There's no reason to shit on it. AJ Styles is not going to come into the WWE, have never working there ever in his career other than that one Velocity match or whatever that doesn't count. He's not going to come in after all this time and win the WWE title in the Royal Rumble. So I was going to be really pissed off if the fans were to be mad if AJ was eliminated. But having Owens do it the way he did it, I thought was perfect. And, they booked it properly to where the fans marked out seeing AJ Styles, also enjoying what AJ Styles did while he was in the Royal Rumble, giving him a good showing. And then when he got eliminated, the fans didn't lose their minds and throw shit in the ring. So to me, that was the biggest pleasant surprise of the Royal Rumble, was not only AJ Styles' appearance, but the reaction, the crowd reaction that he got all throughout the match, even when he was eliminated. Even after Owens tossed him out, the fans were still chanting AJ, AJ. So if that keeps up, WWE is going to have to realize that. And I was a little suspicious of AJ coming into the WWE. I didn't know, and still don't really. He's only been there one night. I still don't know how it's all going to work out for him, and I just worry that he's going to fall victim to the WWE's shitty booking and their shitty decisions, not pushing the guys that the fans actually want to see, and then just using AJ Styles in the same way that they used Dolph Ziggler. And I don't want to see that for AJ. So the word on the street is they paid him a ton of money, so if they are paying him a ton of money, he probably will be close to the top of the card, and hopefully he will. And I think his initial debut and his showing he put on for himself in the Royal Rumble was a great way for him to enter the WWE, and to me, highly successful. So welcome to the WWE, AJ Styles. I am thrilled that you're here. I think everybody is, and I hope it works out for you in absolutely the best way possible. So happy to see him there. One of the other quote-unquote surprise entrants this year was Sami Zayn, who made his return as well right after Kevin Owens had eliminated AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn got in there and started brawling with Kevin Owens and ultimately eliminated Kevin Owens. So that's another feud that now looks like it's going to pick back up now that Zayn is back from his injury. And I've mentioned, a lot of us have even months back that would be a great WrestleMania match. So if they're able to put together something with Zayn and Owens, or Owens and AJ, of course Daniel Bryan can still come back in the future, maybe work with AJ at Mania, who knows. I think the Mania card, as far as in-ring work goes, could be one of the best WrestleManias we've ever had. I liked the fact that we didn't have any silly surprise entrants this year. The WWE title is on the line. This is not the year that they need to bring out Honky Tonk Man and Diamond Dallas Page and Jake Roberts and shit like that. So I'm glad that they kept the surprises to pretty much the main roster. Triple H does technically count, instead of having celebrities and a whole bunch of dumb shit in this match. They did it right, and I was really happy with the booking and the structuring of the match and the order in which everybody came out. I thought was really well done this year, especially, like I said, when you compare it to the last two shit Rumbles we've gotten. Now, as far as some of the other big events of the match, of course, this whole thing is revolved around Roman Reigns. Now, after he's out there for a little while, the League of Nations comes back out and attacks him, pulls him out of the ring. Vince McMahon is with them, directing traffic. They pull Roman Reigns out and throw him through the announce table, and he's completely laid out, and the doctors come out with a stretcher and all that shit. He doesn't want to be carted off. He insists on walking to the back, but they basically take Roman out. He's eliminated from the match, didn't get tossed over the top rope, but he's physically unable to compete, and so he just disappears. So you know that he's going to be making a return later on in the match. You just didn't know when. In the meantime, we saw the emergence of three members of the Wyatt family. Everybody except Bray was in there at the same time. Chris Jericho, incidentally, also was pulling a Bob Backlund, 1993. Jericho went something like 50 minutes in this Royal Rumble, a tremendous outing for him. I even thought he looked really good in the match. Jericho physically is not what he once was, and that's been noticed in some of the matches he had, but I thought as he was in there in the Rumble, as time went on, he almost got better and sharper as he went along. He was hitting his moves, and he was saving himself over the top rope time and time again. Really reminded me of Bob Backlund's performance in the 1993 Royal Rumble. So for me, a big Chris Jericho fan, it was awesome to see him have a showing like that, considering that when he does come back into the company now, he's pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things, and he's really never in the world title picture or anything like that. So I thought it was cool that he had a good showing for himself in this Rumble. We had one little piece of comedy in there as well, which I was completely fine with, because I like what they do with R-Truth, how he just doesn't know what the fuck's going on sometimes. So his music hits. I can't remember what number he was, and he comes out there and grabs a ladder and brings a ladder into the ring in the middle of the ring. All the other wrestlers are just standing there watching him, and he starts climbing up the ladder like he's reaching for a belt or a briefcase or something. So he didn't know what fucking pay-per-view it was. Could have been Money in the Bank, could have been TLC. We don't know. Only R-Truth does. All I know is this guy should be president of the fucking United States. And back to the Wyatt family. Now that we have all three of them in the ring, Braun Strowman, as I predicted, did do a lot of damage in this Royal Rumble. I believe he eliminated Kane and The Big Show and really looked awesome, which I knew that he would. And I also knew that the only guy that was going to eliminate him was going to be Brock because of what we saw on Monday Night Raw. So sure enough, as Rowan and Harper and Strowman are in there kicking ass, Brock's music hits. He comes into the ring and just starts killing everybody. German after German after German, fucking everybody up, ends up eliminating all three members of the Wyatt family all by himself until Bray Wyatt comes out right after that. His number was somewhere in the late 20s. He comes out and gets in the ring, and then the Wyatt family, all of the members that were eliminated, come back and they attack Brock Lesnar and eliminate Brock Lesnar. And the fans, it felt like the wind really came out of their sails there. It was like kind of a letdown. The fans got a little bit quiet because they started getting nervous as to what they were going to see now. Brock Lesnar was one of the three possible winners for this thing, along with Roman Reigns and Triple H. And with him eliminated, I think the fans were gasping for air a little bit, worried that Roman Reigns was in fact going to return at some point in this match and retain his WWE title. Now, Roman Reigns did return. Brock, incidentally, kind of walked off. Did anybody find that surprising? I thought for sure Brock was going to get back in that ring and attack and beat the shit out of Bray Wyatt, setting up some sort of a WrestleMania match. And, that's something we can talk about, too. What's Brock going to do now at WrestleMania? We'll try to get into that in a little bit. Back to the Rumble match. Roman Reigns does reappear in the match when Sheamus comes out. I think Sheamus was like number 29, I believe. And as he's making his way to the ring, Reigns attacks him in the aisleway. He starts going nuts, getting in the ring and kicking everybody's ass. And then it's time for number 30. And we were all wondering, is it going to be another surprise? We never did see Daniel Bryan. I would have loved to see Daniel Bryan in this Royal Rumble. And I wasn't sure about Triple H. We all knew it was a possibility we would see him. But I was thinking he wouldn't be an entrant in the Royal Rumble. I thought he would come out as number 31 or just include himself in the Royal Rumble. You know how the Authority likes to change the rules, and if Roman Reigns won, Triple H could just appear and toss him over the top rope. I kind of thought they would go in that direction, but instead, with still a lot of guys left in the ring, Triple H's music sure enough hits at number 30 and he comes down to the ring. The fans reacted pretty decently to it. To me, it wasn't like they were freaking out. They just didn't want Roman Reigns. That was obvious. He was booed right when he came down, when he entered at number 1. He was booed when he returned to the match. He was booed through everything that he did. So it got to the point where Triple H was now going to be the fan favorite. Triple H actually eliminated Roman Reigns, threw him over the top rope, nailed him with a bunch of crotch chops right in a row. Triple H and Dean Ambrose are your final two in the Royal Rumble, and I loved the final two. I thought that was great, giving that to Ambrose. Here I thought this guy was going to lose his Intercontinental title and pretty much do nothing else for the rest of the Royal Rumble. Not only does he retain the Intercontinental title, but he's got a chance to walk out with 2 belts, and he's the last guy in the ring with Triple H. And I was even thinking, with Roman Reigns being on the floor, maybe he could yank Triple H out and give the belt to his brother. If it can't be Roman himself, he's sure as hell not going to let Triple H win it. So I thought for sure Roman Reigns might do the ultimate swerve, which I would have been fine with. Who would have seen Dean Ambrose winning the WWE title coming? If they would have done that, I would have marked out for it, I swear to God. And I was really thinking for a second that was going to happen. But no, Triple H ends up getting the upper hand on Dean Ambrose, of course, and throws him over the top, I believe, with like a backdrop. Triple H was teetering on the apron, about to fall out, and he countered something, got back in, and tossed Dean out over his head. And Triple H becomes your new WWE champion. Stephanie gets in the ring. Vince gets in the ring. They all celebrate. And to me, I'm completely fine with it. I predicted that. That's what I said in my predictions, is that Triple H would walk out of the Royal Rumble as WWE champion, and he did, in fact, do just that. As far as my thoughts and opinions on it, it's just like what I said. I'm completely fine with it. I had no problem with this. All I wanted was to not have the worst Royal Rumble in history, which is how I felt in the previous 2 years. I mean, I've come up the night after the Royal Rumble for the last 2 years completely destroying the WWE, and I didn't want to have to do that for a third straight year. All I wanted was something better booked to where WWE didn't completely ignore the fans' participation in this. And that's what they did the previous 2 years with Batista and Roman Reigns. The fans were clearly saying one thing and the WWE was doing something else. So this year, the way they booked it, having AJ Styles in the ring and making his debut and also having a really good showing for himself, all the little things that they did to structure the match, it had a good balance of everything, I think, of action, of surprises, of comedy, everything thrown in there, and it was legitimate, and it consisted of all main roster members, which is also nice. No celebrities, no bullshit. They took it seriously. I thought this Royal Rumble for the WWE title was much better than the Survivor Series tournament that they did a couple of months ago. And even though the finish and the ending in WWE's mind was meant to be a surprise, the fans pretty much could sniff that out. We had a feeling after Triple H got beat down and sent to the hospital after TLC that he was going to come back at some point, and the way the Rumble match was structured around the WWE title, this was going to be it. We had a feeling Triple H would be the one to come back and screw Roman Reigns out of winning the WWE title. That's what happened. Triple H is your new WWE champion. We now have to look ahead to WrestleMania. I guess this means Triple H and Roman Reigns. Now, even though I'm happy with the Royal Rumble and I'm happy with the result, I'm not that terribly excited about this potential main event. If we are going to see Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, I don't know. That's not, to me, that's not something that needs to be in front of 100,000 fans. These guys have worked before. Remember when The Shield was feuding with Evolution and shit? So, you know, it's not like this is the first time we've ever seen Triple H interact with Roman Reigns. And I'm sure in Triple H, heart of hearts, he wants to do the right thing, the way he did other guys like Batista, John Cena, Chris Benoit, and guys like that at WrestleMania. But you know, I just don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the match that's going to sell the tickets for me. I would have much preferred to see Brock Lesnar take on Roman Reigns in a rematch from last year. To me, I would have much preferred that over Roman Reigns and Triple H, but there's still a long way to go. That might not even be our main event. Maybe something will transpire at Fastlane. Maybe Roman Reigns will win the title at Fastlane instead and defend it at WrestleMania. I have no idea. They could go a million ways, but I guess it does look like Triple H and Roman Reigns is the most likely match. Again, this Royal Rumble's not perfect. I'm a little bit unsure of how Triple H's title reign will play out. I'm glad that if this guy is going to be moving as into the COO or something of a more backstage role permanently, probably very soon in his career, because he is in his 40s now. If he's going to have one more run, put one more guy over, have one more run at the title, you know, hey, at least Triple H didn't go out there and bury somebody, right? At least Triple H didn't bring his shovel out to the ring and bury some young up-and-coming star. He won the WWE title in the Royal Rumble, where there's lots of other shit going on, and it doesn't make anybody look bad. So, you know, in my mind, if Triple H is going to win the title again, this is better than him pedigreeing and pinning some star that's going to be a major part of your company for the next 20 years. It's better him do it this way than beating a guy like that. So I'm looking at the positive side of things. I'm looking at the silver lining, and I'm happy that I didn't have to pull my pants down and take a shit on this Royal Rumble. I'm really glad I didn't have to do that this year. I enjoyed it. I was satisfied enough with the finish. I probably would have preferred to see Brock win, you know, because I just, you know, love Brock or whatever. But when you look at the three likely winners, really the only three guys that were going to win this thing was going to be Triple H, Roman Reigns, or Brock Lesnar. If it wasn't going to be Brock, when you look at the last two, yeah, Triple H is probably the guy that fans would prefer, because if Roman Reigns would have won tonight, fans would have booed the shit out of it, and it would have sucked. At least this way with Triple H, you got a big, strong, asshole, douchebag heel with his family who owns the company by his side, clinging to that WWE title, refusing to let it go. I don't know, maybe Roman will finally develop some sympathy. Maybe Triple H can do enough in this next couple of months to get so much fucking heat and piss the fans off so bad that even they want to see Roman Reigns win the WWE title. Maybe, just maybe, they can get to that point. It's not likely, but I think that maybe they could. All I'm saying is we should all refrain just for a little while on shitting on WrestleMania. Let's give it some time, see what they're going to do, see the way the rest of the card plays out, and we'll judge it maybe as we get a little bit closer to the show. Plus, we still have Fastlane in between then, so a lot can happen. And before I forget, there's two other things I also want to mention about the Royal Rumble. Did anybody catch the two wrestler tributes that took place? Now, the move that Rusev used to put out Roman Reigns through the table when the League of Nations attacked him, isn't that the same thing that Umaga did to John Cena all those years ago during their Royal Rumble title match? I thought that was pretty cool. And did anybody see what Ryback did? He came in the ring and did some of CM Punk's moves. He did the running knees, and, he came in a House of Fire almost like he would get a hot tag, and he did some of CM Punk's running knees in the corner, which I thought was weird, because if you remember way back when CM Punk did the podcast with Colt Cabana, he called out Ryback, called him steroid guy, and said that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he hurt everybody or whatever. So I thought that was an interesting little thing that Ryback threw in. I don't know if that was a personal jab or if he just did it to be funny. I don't know. But I did find both instances between Rusev and Ryback a little bit interesting. Moving on briefly as well to what else we saw on the card. I was a little bit off on my predictions. I was close. I predicted Triple H winning the WWE title, and I predicted the New Day retaining the tag team titles, and I predicted everything else wrong. I actually thought Kevin Owens was going to win back the Intercontinental title. That match between him and Dean Ambrose opened up the show. It was a last man standing match, and it was fucking awesome. And the finish, oh my God, that was great. The way they set the tables up there outside the ring, they kind of left it alone. It looked like Owens had Ambrose beat, laying on the chairs, about to, I think, moonsault him or something over the top rope. Ambrose gets up and tosses and pushes Kevin Owens over the ring post. He does a flip and lands through the two tables that are set up outside the ring in the corner. Lands through him, of course, cannot honor and answer the 10 count, and he gets counted out, losing the Intercontinental title rematch to Dean Ambrose, and Ambrose retains. I was hoping Kevin Owens would win, but after the finish and the way the match went and how awesome it was, I didn't care. Congratulations to Dean Ambrose on retaining the Intercontinental title. Kalisto did win the U.S. title. That I didn't see coming either. I predicted Owens to win the title and Kalisto to lose the rematch he had against Alberto Del Rio, but he beat Del Rio clean. A lot of references and comparisons in this match to him and Rey Mysterio Jr. The announcers and commentators were talking a lot about that, so it looks to me like WWE wants to build this guy as their new Rey Mysterio Jr., and I have no problem with that because I think Kalisto is awesome. And he's a guy I think that the WWE needs. I think that's part of Kalisto's push. I think part of the reason why they're pushing him as singles is, number one, his tag team partner is injured, but number two, they need that Mexican lucha star that is over with the fans, and he is over for the most part. He gets a crowd reaction every time. The little lucha dance that he does is great crowd participation. Kind of reminds me of the yes chant thing that fans do with their arms. He's a guy that WWE can exploit and market and make into one of their new Rey Mysterio-like guys, and I'm completely all for it. Gives the kid an opportunity. He's going to make a ton of money. He is now a two-time United States champion, and I'm happy for him. Congratulations to Kalisto. To me, Del Rio just seems lost in the League of Nations and stuff. Even though he came back in and beat John Cena clean and won the U.S. title, they need Ricardo back, if you ask me. I mean, why can't they bring him back as his ring announcer? The two of them together, it just feels better if Ricardo would be there. Del Rio on his own and teaming up with fucking Zeb and Sheamus and these fucking yahoos. It doesn't make any sense. I would really like to see Ricardo come back to the WWE one day. And the other title match that I also predicted wrong, I really thought Becky Lynch was going to win the Divas title against Charlotte. And Charlotte, with help from her dad, did end up winning. Kind of a funny finish. It's like what Becky's got Charlotte in her finisher or submission hold, I think. And then Ric Flair takes his jacket off and throws it on Becky's head. Just drapes it over her head. And she yanks it off, and, I think Charlotte ended up rolling her up and pinning her and winning the match with help from her father, the dirtiest player in the game. And then they surprised us at the end after Becky lost with Sasha returning to the WWE. Her music hits. She comes out. She not only kicks Becky Lynch's ass, but then she beats the shit out of Charlotte to a huge pop. And I love Sasha. She is so gorgeous. Not a fan of her faction that she's involved with. Team Bad, I think, is really, really bad. But I like that the WWE didn't waste any time and moved right on to the next women's or Divas title feud, I should say. I wish it was called the women's title. And now you got to start thinking about WrestleMania for the Divas. Is Charlotte going to hang on to this title until WrestleMania? Are they going to do a multi-Divas title match at WrestleMania? I can almost see them doing a three-way or four-way just to ensure that all these girls get an opportunity to be in a big match at WrestleMania. Could we see Bayley come onto the main roster before then? Who knows? Looks like the next feud will be Sasha and Charlotte. And I'm fine with somebody upending Charlotte now. I'm totally fine with her losing the Divas title at this point. She's held it for a pretty significant amount of time. She'll win it multiple times in her career. So if she's going to drop it to Becky or Sasha or something like that, I'm all for it, and I'm fine with it. If not, if she holds it past Fastlane, or if she holds it any longer, then she really should keep it until WrestleMania and drop it at Mania. That might actually be the best option, but at this point, whenever she drops it, I'm fine with it, and especially if she ends up losing it to somebody like Sasha Banks. So that, in a nutshell, is your Royal Rumble. Let me know your thoughts on the show. I know not everybody is going to like it nearly as much as I do, but I'm a positive person, and I thought that this Royal Rumble was a vast improvement from their previous 2 Royal Rumbles, and I'm willing to give the WWE credit for that. Very big day today, too, of course, as it's also Championship Sunday here in the United States for NFL football. The 2 games that decide who meets in the Super Bowl both took place. The first game was the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos, which to me was a really special matchup because Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, this is our generation's Johnny Unitas and Bart Starr. This is the stuff of legend. This is the stuff that we're going to look back on and say, wow, I'm so glad I was alive to see these great athletes play each other. And the smart money says that this will be the last time we ever see it. I don't think Peyton Manning will play football next year. And man, I just wanted it for him so bad. You guys know my thoughts on Tom Brady. I gave some opinions on him in my year-end commentary that I did a month ago, and he's not my favorite person. And the New England Patriots, even though I have a ton of respect for them, just like everybody else, I am so fucking sick of them. And I lost a lot of respect for the team after some of their scandals, the Spygate and the Deflategate. And I'm like, why are you guys doing this? You're so fucking good. You don't need to cheat. And to me, I've not had the same amount of respect for them since then. So I really didn't want to see them go to the Super Bowl again. I think people are tired of seeing that. And on top of that, Tom Brady has really owned Peyton Manning in his career. I mean, Peyton's won a few of the big matchups, and he's won a couple of playoff matchups against Brady. But overall, Brady has come out on the winning end most of the time. And if this was going to be Peyton Manning's last game, I didn't want to see him lose to Tom Brady. I mean, it might be a little bit nice. It reminded me of WrestleMania 19 with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and how Austin went out to The Rock. So I thought if Manning was going to go out, maybe going out to Brady was the best option, but I was really rooting hard for the Denver Broncos to win because I wanted to see Peyton Manning beat Tom Brady, and that's what happened. The Denver Broncos played amazingly. Peyton Manning is not the player he once was, which is why it's pretty obvious that he won't return next year, but Broncos defense played out of their minds, really kept New England in check, and as luck would have it, Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos do beat the New England Patriots, who were favored in this game. I mean, New England was favored to go into Denver and beat Denver in their own home field. So I was so happy to see that Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos were able to win that game. They're going to the Super Bowl again. This is Super Bowl 50, and it's going to be Denver versus Carolina. Now, the Panthers beat the absolute shit out of the Arizona Cardinals. I was sad to see that because I do like the Arizona Cardinals, but I used to live in North Carolina, so I was kind of hoping for the Panthers too. So either way in that game, I just wanted the best team to win, but I knew I was going to come out a little bit sad regardless of who lost. But seeing Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers go to the Super Bowl, that's huge, and it's going to be a hell of a matchup. It's going to be the guy going out, the veteran Peyton Manning, leaving the sport most likely, and he's going to be taking on this 26 or 27-year-old phenom. I mean, Cam Newton's an amazing athlete, and he's changing the quarterback position. I think he's had a fabulous year, and he's so athletic and fun to watch, and seems like an overall just good kid and good guy. He's really matured from his college days because he had trouble, when he was younger and stuff. And I like what Cam Newton has made of himself. And he's a really fun player, fun to watch. And I guess I'm going to be happy regardless of the outcome. But considering that this is Super Bowl 50 and it's going to be most likely Peyton Manning's last game, I would love it if Peyton Manning were to win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 50. And that be his last game and go out on top. A guy, a professional like Peyton Manning deserves that. That would be the Ric Flair treatment right there. That would him be going out in the biggest way possible and winning such a significant Super Bowl, the 50th one. That's what I want for Peyton Manning. So I am rooting hard for Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. And with that defense, I think they stand a really good chance of beating Carolina. Carolina is very high energy. They can be high offense at times. As we saw today, they scored 49 or 50 points or something like that. But Denver's D, they might be able to figure it out. So I'm really hoping that Denver can win the Super Bowl just for the purposes of Peyton Manning. I have no allegiance to Denver Broncos at all. Don't care if they win or lose or whatever. I'm rooting for the specific player here, and that is Peyton Manning. And a guy like that and a professional like that and what he's meant to football, I want him to win the Super Bowl in his last game. I want that so badly for him. So I hope that it happens. So you guys can leave me your Super Bowl thoughts and opinions as well. I'd love to hear what you think. I will be up here tomorrow night after Monday Night Raw. We'll see the fallout from the Royal Rumble and everything that they talk about. I'm sure Triple H will be cutting a promo. We'll see a Roman Reigns appearance, maybe some more information on Brock Lesnar and what he's going to be doing in the future. Hopefully, we will also see AJ Styles on Raw. Should be an exciting show. Hopefully. Remember, last year we didn't have a post-Royal Rumble Raw because of the fucking blizzard, and they had to cancel it, and they did that little show from Stamford. So this year, WWE played it safe, put both of these shows in Florida. Very smart move. They should do that every year from now on. So hopefully tomorrow night's Raw will be fun, and I will be up here regardless of whether the show is fun or not, or good or bad, or sucks or doesn't suck. I will be up here to review the whole thing, and we'll have a much better idea what we're going to be looking at going into Fastlane. Have a good rest of your evening. Thanks for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow. Until then, peace.